Yeah. So good morning once again, and welcome to welcome to this Python session. Uh, yeah, I think we are good to go. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Hi everyone. Uh, I have shared my screen with you. It's visible to everybody, right?
Yes, 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 why?
Yeah. So I'm gonna set. Is there, right? Mm. So yeah. Small introduction about me. That I'm Wahid Mohammed Khan. Uh, I'm a full stack developer. I've worked in IT industry quite long. I'm working as a developer since like past 3 4 years. I was basically from Java background. I started my career with Java, then end up with Android, then Node, then
Yeah, hi
Python.
Wahid. Voice is very low.
Voice is very low, right? Now it is how it is. It's clear now.
It is
Now
still
it is
not
better.
that better, but it's better.
Okay.
Why I think you need to speak little louder.
Okay, fine. Now how it is?
Yeah, sounds better as of now.
Okay, fine. Uh, it will be more better if yeah, unmute yourself. Mute. Okay, mute yourself. Then yeah, fine. So I was giving my introduction that I am a full stack developer. I started my career with many technology. I end up with many technologies such as Java, Android, Node, Mean, and Python. One of them, Python. One of them is Python. So I started, you know, I joined this visual path as a trainer and consultant for for the for their application. Okay. So in today's session, we'll have an core. We'll start from zero level Python. To we'll go to the automation with the help of Python. Okay. So stick to me. You know, we'll start soon. Okay. These were the topic we are going to cover in Python. Will see what are the basics of Python. We'll start running some normal scripts, normal program. We'll have introduction to the interpreter, Python interpreter, and then we'll have we'll run some scripts with the help of Python for seeing basic output. Then we'll learn to the standard data types. What are the standard data types available in Python? We'll have some IO operations. Then we'll follow the control flow. What is the control flow in Python? Then we'll have functions, and we'll have little introduction towards the object also, object oriented Python also. So before starting anything, I'll start everything from scratch, like what is programming language. So a programming language is nowadays a programming language are all high level languages. You know, basically if you categorize programming language, you can categorize into two. One is high level language, another one is low level language. High level language is is a language, like it's an English word with the symbols. Whatever the extra symbols we have in it, like your alphabet, your numeric symbols plus your special characters. These are symbols. We generally programmers will code into high level languages. Now these languages are understandable by humans, not understandable by the machine. So we, for machine understanding, we have low level languages there. In low level languages, we have machine language and assembly level language. This machine language is nothing but binary data, so that the this language can be understand by a machine. And if we categorize low level and high level, low level has one more language called assembly level language. This this you write some code. For example, you write some scripts or some code, and that code is only machine can understand. Earlier, if you start writing your code in machine level language, it will be in the form of one and zeros. but it is understandable by machine, but no other person can understand what you have written it. Okay, for for removing this readability disadvantage of machine level language, they evolve one more long language called assembly level language. In there, they used to write some English words, some English sentences, and assembler, a translator was there, which used to translate from your assembly language to machine level language. Okay, this assembly language or this machine level language is understandable by the core machine, which is binary data. We call it machine code. Then assembly language is like we used to code with microprocessors, controllers. At the basic chips level, programming used to happen with the help of assembly languages. But the thing is, now as technology era moves forward, they started evolving high level languages. High level languages again categorize into two, like interpreted languages and compiled languages. Interpreted languages is like you have your code. I'll tell you what is interpreted and what is compiled one. But thing is, interpreted languages for interpreted languages, we they evolve interpreter. For compiled languages involve compiler. The thing is, basically they translate their source code, whatever the code they have written, to the machine code, so that machine can take that code and start performing actions. This is this is compiled versus interpreted languages. Okay, we are moving towards the high level languages. Now we have the source code. Now what source, what if it is a compile level language, what compiler, there is term there is translator. This is a translator, we call as a compiler. This translator, what it will do, it will take the source code and convert into machine code. Now if in case of compiled languages, the thing is, whatever the source code you have written, a file or a bunch of functions or conditions or whatever you have written, it is going to convert the source code. What compiler will do, it will take the entire source code at once and convert into the machine level languages, machine code. Now, this machine code is runnable code. It's a byte of data, or a binary data that can be it's an intermediate data, so that machine can read that data and start performing actions. Okay, imagine that if you don't have any high level languages, and people started writing code in binary digits, 1 2 3, like 10 10 10 10 like that. And if you share your code with another person, he has to sit a long day to understand. You have to convert that binary data to understandable format. Then it's take a lot of time. Nowadays, if you have a high level languages, you just give your script share to another person. It's no normal readable format, that it will be in English words or special characters, so that he can easily understand. It is easy for human also, and in terms of machine reading code also, if you have a high level languages. So what compile languages is, in compile language we have a compiler. It takes the source code and convert into the machine code and runs your programs. Okay, the thing is, in compile languages, whatever the compiler is there, it will take the entire source code, like it will take the bunch, it will load the entire file at once. But in case of interpreter, the thing is, you give the source code to the interpreter. What it will do, it will start reading line by line. Sequential reading is there in terms of interpreter. Whatever the code you have written, it will start from first line and second line, then third line, like that. It will read your source code line by line, and it will generate the output for you. This was quite a glimpse of compiled language versus interpreted language. Like why this machine code concept is there, why this machine code concept is there, this was because machine can understand what you have written. Okay, now in CPU we have a CPU cycle. Why this CPU cycle is came into the picture, I'll tell you that in CPU we have a CPU cycle. Whenever you write some code, and that code get converted into machine code, then the CPU whatever the actions to perform is a responsibility of CPU cycle. What you have your source code, machines, this is main memory. This is we have we call as a main memory. Your RAM is a main memory. Take main memory. What it will do, CPU cycle, it has a four step to follow. What it will take your machine code, fetch. Your machine code is nothing but a series of instructions. It is a binary data, and it's a series of instructions scheduled for your operating system. Any task is going to perform, it's going to perform with the help of series of instructions only. what it will do, your machine the CPU cycle, it will take your machine code and fetch that code, decode the instructions, and it will fetch the all the instructions you have written. Sorry, my charger was down. Okay, fine. Yeah, it's take this machine code whatever you have written and fetch all the instruction from that machine code. Then decode the instruction whatever it's an intermediate code, right? Machine code is an intermediate code. Then what CPU cycle will do, it will decode that instructions whatever you have written inside that machine code. Then process the instruction whatever the whatever the operations you want on that instruction, it perform all the operation on an instruction, then scroll back result to the memory. This how or whatever the operations you perform, like you write some automation scripts, or you write some system level script, some system level automation, you can perform easily with the help of uh, uh, this how like perform easily with the help of programming language. You give the instructions, you give the instructions whatever you want to perform in program, that is converted into machine code. Then machine code is translated by the CPU cycle. It will fetch all the instructions whatever you have written, then decode the instruction, start processing the instruction, and store the result into the memory pack. And from this memory, whatever the memory this memory main memory we can see the output. Okay, this was like uh, quite a glimpse of CPU cycle. Like we have not started Python till now, but it was a basic, what is interpreted, what is compiled, and how these instructions are going to process when when you program, whenever you program something, how it is going to be decoded into the backend. That's was there is a CPU cycle in the backend. It follows all the steps, all these four steps in the backend, and start performing on it. Okay, now we'll move towards the Python. So what is Python? Python, this is Python actually, first of all. No, Python has taken from name from Greek. Okay, Python is interpreted language. As I told you that we have two high level languages. One is interpreted, another one is compiled. So Python is an interpreted language. In Python we have an interpreter to decode your code set of instruction. Now, Python is interactive. Python gives you an interactive prompt for you. Python, we call it a Python prompt. I'll show you quickly what that Python prompt is. And Python is also an object oriented. I'll tell you what object oriented means. Like it's portable. You write some code and you can give it to the same scripts or same file, so other person, so that he can execute into his system. Basically, you take a Python code and you can run into any system, either it is Linux, Windows, or any machine. Why? Because whenever you have an installation, there will be separate Python installation for every system. And Python, whatever the Python interpreter is, it can decode the same instruction into any machine. It will take the Python code and it will start decoding into other machine also. It is scalable. Okay. Also, when to use Python? Right now, you guys might have learned this bash scripting, right? Bash scripting, if I talk in terms of DevOps point of view, like you can use Python as a very good source of automation. Python will be very good source of it is a programming language. It has no end to end. You have very huge amount of community for this Python. They have you'll find set of libraries, set of modules, whatever action you want to perform. It's a programming language. That's why community is very big, and you'll end up with many resources to program in the Python. Okay, so uh, when to use Python? You might have learned bash scripting. In bash scripting, you have done automation. That automation was only restricted towards your Linux systems. You can perform automation only to your Linux system. Like you cannot go for beyond the Linux task. If you want to go for the beyond the Linux task, you have to use other programming language or other tools. Like this Python will Python is one of the good resource, so that you can use for automation with automation for not only Linux. You can perform automation for Windows or other cloud automation also. Like for moving one step beyond, you can take the help of Python for for doing your automations. Python overview, like Python are basically we call is everything you written inside the program is a statement. First of all, you write some statement, then combination of these statements you form a file. Every file you write with the help of some certain functions is a module in Python. I'll tell you what functions, what module is, but remember this now. You write everything in terms of statements, expressions in your inside your code, and that statements becomes the statements and functions becomes a module in Python. Now this is hello world. I think for now this much theory is enough. I think we should quickly jump to towards this. Okay. Now fine. Now, as I said, Python is an interpreted language. We have a Python interpreter. So before moving this, for installation of Python, you can check, you know, this is a website called official website of Python, python.org. You go to the python.org and you can have an installation for any operating system you want. You can have installation for Windows, Mac, or you go to the download. Yeah, you can have an installation for your system. According to your system, in download section, you have installation for Windows, Macs, or other platform also. If you are using Linux, like any Ubuntu based or mm, or Red Hat one, like a CentOS. So in that system, Python is already they have included Python as built-in. They have included Python as a built-in package inside Linux. Okay, so in if you are using Linux operating system, you don't have to go anywhere. You can just quickly go to your shell, go to the shell and just type Python. It will give you a Python interpreter for you. Okay. Now for other operating system, what they have to do, if I'm downloading for Windows, go for the Windows and download this. Now Python 3.6 is there. 3.7 is it's into review mode, but you can go download a stable version of it. You go here and like if it's according to your operating system, it is if it is 32-bit, take this one, Python installer, not web based, this executable installer. You you go and download this executable installer, Python installation start. If it is 64-bit, take this 86-64 executable installer. Then you just have to click next, and in Windows it is your mm, installation done. Then it will give you a Python shell, Python prompt for you, and then you have to go there. Right now I'm using sorry, right now I'm using right now I'm using Ubuntu based Ubuntu system. Right now I'm using Ubuntu system. That's why I'll check for the Python is installed or not. Yeah, it's installed. Format is 2.7.0, 2.7.12. Like this Python is already installed. This package is already came with the Linux. I don't have to go and install again. So if I hit Python, it gives me an Python interpreter. As I told you that Python is an interpreted language. It gives you a shell, a interpreter for you if you want to execute something. So it is Python you know interpreted in front of you, or we call it a Python interpreter, Python prompt, or Python shell. Both, any terminology is okay for this. Now to start programming in Python, I'll just type I'll follow the tradition. I'll just type hello world. What I have done is I have given a string. We call it this single quote string. I have given and just I have asked interpreter to revert back me the string. So if you type anything, if you type a number, it will revert back a number to you. If whatever you're typing into the Python interpreter, it will interpret into it will interpret whatever instruction you have given, then revert back to the shell. Okay, this was what this single code testing. When we when we go to the data types and all, I'll tell you what this is. This single quoted string is called as a string literal. We have multiple strings here. This one of them is single quoted string. So uh, if you want to start with Python, so just print. Now look here. Earlier what I've done is have launched this Python prompt, and in that Python prompt I have printed hello world. This is string literal value. What interpreter has done, he has taken that string literal and just printed that string literal in front of me with whatever it was there. Now next is I asked this interpreter with the help of print function. Just we have a print function here. If you want to print something on this prompt, you can give this print function and start printing whatever you need. Okay, the difference is here it was I was asking for the string literal value. It's taken the string literal value and printed that string literal value in front of me. If you go for the print function, it takes whatever the string you have given. Here we don't have single quote. It has given that he has interpreted that string and printed that string in front of me. Now next is next is this was Python. I was talking about Python interpreter. As I told you, Python is an interpreted language. It provides an interactive environment or interactive prompt for you so that you can start coding with that. You can perform any mathematical operation if you want. You go to the shell. You can perform any pretty much any operations. Like for example, 5 plus. Wait a moment, guys. No, clear that obstacle. The some problem was there. Sorry for that. Yeah, where we was, we were into this. Yeah. So you can perform pretty much any mathematical operation you want. You can take help of interpreter. You can start writing your code there, and it will start working for you. Now you can have any logical expression also. You take any logical expression. For example, you give 2 equal to 2. It will give you a boolean value to you. I'll tell you what this boolean value is. You can perform like is 5 is greater than 7. It gives a false value to you. Five is not greater than 7. Like this, you can perform any pretty much any mathematical operation you want. You can perform with the help of Python interpreter. Okay. Now
Void, your voice is very, very low. Can you use your headphones?
yeah, wait 1 second.
Thank you.
Now it is clear.
Much, it's much clearer now.
Okay, fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's. Thank you. Okay, so you can perform pretty much any operations you want with the help of Python interpreter. So Python print statement. As I already told you that this is the Python print statement. You take help of print functions and whatever you want to print on the prompt, you can print with the help of Python print. Now, like you, for example, you want to print more than like this is, uh, for example, you want to print. You have to give a single code print hello, comma, and more than one statement you want to print. That time, what you do, you follow comma. Okay. No, it will take the print statement for you. You can generate more than one value on the same line, print statement. You can add comma and you can start printing whatever you need, whatever you're asking Python interpreter to print for you. Okay. Now comments in Python. Okay, if you're typing something, with the help of this hash symbol, it will treat it as a comment. It will consider as a comment for you. It will, your Python interpreter is not going to, interpret that line. It will, just directly prompt you the shell again, like this. Hash print. This is a comment. Okay, it asking is there anything to the no. Not this is a comment line. This was no it was this dot symbol is your Python interpreter is asking that is there anything you wanted to add. I said no, like hit enter and it will go to the next line. Okay. In Python we have this was if you wanted to have multi-line comments you can give this single quote, three times single quote. This is this is enter multi-line comment. Okay, this is multi-line comment. Okay, if you want to Python interpreter to not interpret whatever you're printing, you give this uh, three times three times single quote. Okay, now this in Python we follow in Python for everything, for every single code whatever you're going to write. I'll tell you in earlier in if I compare this Python with C, in C you have curly braces to to open some condition or to write some program. Here in Python we don't have any braces. In Python we follow indentation format. Like you for anything whatever you want to write a statement. Inside that statement one more statement is there. At that time what you'll do, you'll write that statement, you follow the indentation, you give spaces there. With the help of spaces only, that Python interpreter is going to interpret that this particular statement is under that statement. Tell you quickly how it is. Like for example, I'll not teach you if and all, but I'll teach you quickly. If for example count equals to 2. If have a if condition that taking count equal to 2. This is if syntax here. Now here I'll give two spaces. That means I'm following indentation. I'm giving spaces. Spaces are indentation in Python. We don't have curly braces here. We don't have any bracing format here. If I want to say that this print statement inside this if statement, that time what I'll do, I'll follow the indentation. No, the value of count is comma count. The value of count is 2. Okay. What I've done is I've taken a variable. I've taken a declare a variable, and now I have initialize a variable After that, I'm checking this condition, that is count is equal to 2, print some statement, otherwise, do something else. I've not written the else part for it. But in Python, we don't have any curly braces, we have indentation here. Yeah, we follow indentation like variable. Now I have just initialized a variable, have just assigned a variable in front of you. In Python, we don't have variable declaration like that. For example, you declare some variable if you're following some C syntax, or some other language syntax. There you have to you can declare a variable, like like for example, like in C there is a format called int, you know integer values like that. You have to declare first, and you give comma or semicolon, then this is considered as the integer declaration. In Python, we don't have any variable declaration. In Python, we have direct variable assignment. Because it's an interpreted language, at the time of runtime itself, it's going to understand this variable is assigned with some value. Dynamically, it's going to take that value and start performing operation on that. Yeah, uh, we'll just see quickly what this variable is. Variable are nothing but a reserved memory location. You take that variable, you want to store some value into variable, you take that variable and put it into you take that value and you just assign to a particular variable. That means at the time of, I'm saying here, reserve memory location. I'll see what how you can see that object identity and all. You take that value and you store into particular reserve location area. That is nothing but a variable. In y- you'll start writing code with the Python, you'll understood later that everything is a variable variable here. Reserve your function name, your object, it is going to have a unique identity. For example, whatever you're writing, if variable is nothing but just an identifier. For example, I want to set up when I give, like this variable as a variable as a string value. Okay, what I'll do, I'll take that variable and assign a string value to it. Okay, if I hit enter, that again that variable, it's give me the value I have assigned to that variable. I have assigned a string literal to that variable. It gives me a string literal to me back. This variable is nothing but an identifier, some name, some value, a name, sorry, some name for your value, whatever you want to use for reusability. You take that variable, you can start reusing that variable. For example, you give the print statement, print the print the value is, like you can print that variable value. Okay, it will give that variable value to you. Okay, high is a high was the value. This var is just an identifier. It's just a name assigned to your value. Okay. Similarly, same way you can assign multiple value, you know, to different data types. By using different data types, you can assign multiple value to the same variable. Let's see. You know, here, uh, okay. As I tell you that variables are nothing but a reserve memory area. You don't declare any variable in Python. You just assign it. Okay, then so that interpreter at the runtime, interpreter is going to take that value and start working on that. Declaration happens automatically at the time, at the runtime, you can say. Now we have equal sign. Here I have declare a variable. This variable, this equal is an operator. It's an equal operator. Here when I'll teach you operator, that time you'll understand this equal is an operator. We call it an assignment operator. Okay. And adjacent value, whatever your this value, this value, or this identifier, this value and identifier are called as operand. Whenever you're performing whenever you're writing any expressions, in that expression you'll have operand and operator. With the combination of this operand and operator, you form a expression. This is also, this statement is also one type of expression here. Like you have high, you're assigning this high value to your variable. It's an operation. Okay, it's an expression basically. By the help of equal operator or assignment operator, you're performing this operation. So we'll, in this statement, we'll have two operands with an operator. Okay, now see, you can have this multiple assignment also. A comma B, A comma B comma C equal to, you know, 12 comma string value comma 22. If I hit A, if I hit B, if I hit C, like it gives me the value. Like A is assigned to 12, B is assigned to this, and C is assigned to this. You're what you're doing in same expression. You're telling that assign A value 12, B value high, and C value whatever the value you have given. If you are giving like this, A equals to B equals to C, means if you print A B C value, that value is a you for in expression in this expression you have written all the values should equal to 12. In this expression, what you have done, you have taken individual value and assigned individual value to it, different value to it. Okay, now I think we should quickly move towards data type. Yeah, this is variable. Now in Python, everything is considered as an object. I'll tell you when. I'll quickly move towards object and classes concept. I'll tell you that what this object is. Everything is an object. You take functions and classes or variable, you'll have an object identity in behind. Okay, in these are the standard data types. Before moving forward, from variable to you're starting your journey, you should have a strong base for the standard data types. In Python, we have standard data types as number, string, list, tuple, and dictionary. Numbers, basically this number type, number type will have this number type will have different types. Like for example, you have int here. If you assign any integer value, in Python we don't have declaration like int equals to something. We don't give type of declaration. We just assign a value, and dynamically interpreter will understand that what type of value you have given to that variable. Right now I have taken int a equals to 1. That means it's a numeric number type data type. In number type data type, we have integer. If you give some b equals to 1 to 21 point something like that, this b is floating point. We call this uh, decimal values as floating point with point. Whatever, if you have some mathematical operation, you want to store your result as a floating point, you can take directly assign to variable, it will give you the floating point. Okay, now in we have one more number type called as long. Integer, floating point, and long. Like if you want to assign some value, long value, you just give l to it. Means this value is considered as a long value. Okay, as I as I told you that this whatever integer, floating point, or this log has a unique identity. What this identity means, if you go for any variable and you just hit id method on the top of this, that means it will have a unique identity value for that variable. As I told you, this variable has a reserved memory area, and this reserved memory area, in that reserved memory area, whatever your value is going to store, this is an area. This is this is the location, this is an id pointing to it. Okay, in C we used to have a concept of memory address there. This id is nothing but related to that memory address. It's an id, unique identity for that. In Python we call it a unique identity for particular variable. Okay, now integer value, floating point, long, and one more is there. For example, one more is there we call as complex, like a plus x plus z equals to 1 plus 2j, like that. Okay. Okay. Now, if I print z, it gives me a complex value. You can perform any operation with the help of z. If you can perform like z plus 1. Okay? It gives you the value. If you want to add some complex value to it, you can give this complex value z plus 2j 4j. Earlier it was 2j, it was 4j. So in, in number type data type, we have integer, we have floating point, we have long, and we have and complex. Okay, and similarly in string we have in string we have single quoted string, double quoted string, and multi quoted string. What these strings are will tell you, if you're assigning any value, for example, I'm declaring one variable with the help of a string value to it. This is a single quoted string. When you declare a single quoted string, this string is nothing but a string literal. Whatever string literal means whatever you want to whatever you want to print, it will give you that string value as it is. Okay, we have double quoted string also. Like if you print, gives me this value. Now I want to print this var value inside some statement. For example, I want to write that my string value is something like this. My string value is this. Now, whenever you write, this is also one type of string, double quoted string. You know, this double quoted string allows us to have a string formatting. What this string formatting means, you can use some identifier there. We used to use some like %f inside the quotation field. You don't have to you just directly give whatever you want to print. For example, right now I just print var. So with the help of this double quoted string, you can perform string formatting operation. String literal is there. If you give this, inside this double quoted, what it has done is it has taken this person's %s. That means we call it string formatting. Okay, we call it formatting them. It's taken %s and the value of var. This value of var can be, right now it is string, it can be something else. For example, I give the count equals to 10. Now I have declare a variable. Now instead of this, you want to print count. Count count is an integer value. You can give specific formatting. For example, d is count. D is for %d is a format specifier for your integer value. Okay, you give %d and the count, it will give you the count. What you're doing is, with the help of double quoted string, you can perform formatting, string formatting. Okay,
Wahid,
a
your
single
screen
quoted
has
string.
got frozen.
Wait, why this much loud? What's this guy? Narsimha. Now it is clear, right? You can see my screen now. Hello.
No, what we are not able
No,
to.
your screen is still frozen.
No, Wahid, we are not able to.
Okay, fine. Wait a second. Now it is clear. You guys can see my screen now, right?
Yeah,
No,
we are able to see.
yeah.
Yeah. The shell. The shell is there in front of you.
Yeah, yeah. Shall is there.
Okay.
Cursor is also
Thank
blinking.
you.
I can't
Yeah,
see
yeah.
your screen.
Even Wahid, even I can't use screen.
I think it's a problem with your internet. It seems because my few of the persons are able to see it.
Even we are
Wahid,
not
even
able to
I'm
see
I'm
you.
also not able to see this is here.
Yeah, now I can
No.
see. But it is-
Yeah. Wait for a moment. It
Okay.
will come for you. Yeah, the shell is clear now.
No, 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 not yet. Wahid, can you disconnect and can you rejoin again, please?
That's
Because
what
some of
I
the
have
people
done.
can see your screen
Yeah,
feed.
I have
Ah,
done
yeah.
it. Yeah,
Now we can see your screen.
Yeah, we are able to see right now.
this shell.
Yes,
You are
Wahid.
Yes.
able to see the. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So what I was saying, like, we in string type, we have, different string. We have single quoted string, we have double quoted string. This double quoted string gives us, feasibleness that we can perform some formatting. Like you can use the format specifiers, person s, person d, person I, and you can start performing string formatting there. If I now I was saying, like, multi-line string. In multi-line string, whenever you have a paragraph string, like, you want to print some paragraph, at that time you give this multi-line string. What it will do, it will, take your string, uh, perform, for example, we'll just print a string, like, this is paragraph. Okay. Now it will ask me again, also call as multi-line string. What you do is take all, for example, you when you have, big data or big paragraph data. At the time, what we'll do, we generally prefer, for, lines of data. You have, 4 or 5 lines of data you want to store into some variables. At that time, we prefer this multi-line, or, paragraph string. What you'll do, it will take all the string, and, it performs some operation, this slash. And look at here, after string I have given enter, like, next line. For this slash n represent the next line there. Okay, similarly, after this multi-line, I was given, hit enter, this went to new line. After this string also, I've given hit enter, this went to the new line. This what it do, it takes that string and store into, as a paragraph string. See here, as I told you, that in number data type, we have integer, we have long. You can print whatever the integer values there, like, here I printed some integer value, and I perform some, you perform some operation on particular int that results into long value. It is hit back you the long value there. In uh, in number type data type, we have floating point also, as I've given floating point, like this is a floating point value. And you have some, methods to convert these values from, from floating point to, from normal int to floating point to int. Like, these functions are called as built-in functions. For example, I declare a variable equals to some, number 12. Now this number is an int value, so I want to convert into float. So what I'll do, I'll take this float method and write. It gives me the float result. Sometime, you perform some certain operations that you want that these integer, whatever integer you're taking, whatever the value you're taking, you want into float number. At the time, you just convert it. You convert with the help of built-in function. This. Now I just want to see where it gives me the int value. If you want to see long, for example, long, you just give the long function, it will result into long value. Okay. Now, if you want to see the string representation of particular function, at the time you give this string function also. Okay. It gives me a string literal. Whatever the value I've given, it generated into a string literal value, like this. Yeah. I think, yeah. This is floating point number. We have, have tell you that is complex number. You can have a complex number also in Python. Now, I'll tell you this, what immutability and mutability is. For example, you take integer value which has some value. You assign some value to it first of all. Then you take another value and assign another variable and assign that value that very variable. For example, x equals to 4.5, you take that variable, assign to some another variable. Now on y you perform certain operation. Okay, on y you perform certain operation, and if you print x it will give you the x value, and if you print y it will give you the y value. But look at it, in Python we have two concepts: mutability and immutability. Your string, your number are by default immutable in nature. How we can prove that concept? See, now I declare x equals to some string value, uh, a b c d, like that. Now if I print id of a, id of x actually, id of x is gives me an identity of that x variable. Now if I change that variable value with some another value, like some 12, I'm just overriding that variable. At that point, this if I hit this id method one more time, it gives me newly generated identity, like this. The thing is, now whatever x is there, it won't refer to the same identity. Immutable nature means by default you cannot change. No, if you cannot change the same value. For example, you check for this id this time, and after changing also you should find the same id there. That means these are mutable in nature. Your but now what is doing is it's overriding and it's replacing the memory address of another variable with this variable. Means new object is created, new area is created. It won't get stored into the same location, it's stored into the different location. Okay, now similarly, if you for example, if I perform some operation, x equals to 10, id of x is this one. Now I take y equals to some 20 or something like that. Okay, now I hit x of y, id of y, then it gives me an id of y. Similarly, if I perform some operations on, like x equal to y, okay, now if I hit id of x, look at this. What I've done, I've taken this id of y. Initially I declared id equals to 10. Now I've just printed id of x equals to this one. Now I've taken y equals to 20, and this id of y is this one. Okay, now what I've done is I've just copied this variable value, y value, into x value, right? So what I've done is I've replaced this identity of x with the identity of y. Okay, that's why if I print id of x, it gives me identity of x, identity of y, not the identity of x. This is an identity of x. Now after assigning this assigning this operation, performing this operation, it gives me an identity of y. Okay, now if I perform some operation on x again, like x equals to, you know for example, when I just add 3 to x, plus 3. Okay, now if I hit again, the identity of x is same. Okay, now x equals to plus equal to sign. Here I'm not assigning any value to it. I'm just adding 3. It gets stored into the same memory location. But now I'm performing some assignment operation. Okay, with the help of this 3. Now if I hit id of x is given the new id of x. That means here this whatever the identity was generated, this identity is automatically generated by the interpreter itself. It generated some memory address. Okay, this address is not similar to this address because it's mutable. This because of the immutability nature. By default, number and string in Python, it is immutable in nature. Here, like this I explained. Now we go to here and we can see that whatever I've said in slides, that numbers are immutable. These numbers are immutable. If you perform some operation, it will give you the result. Okay, string data types is also immutable in nature. If you perform it some operation on it, it will generate a new new identity, and it will show you that how you can you can verify how it is different in nature. When you perform some assignment operator, right? Whenever you performing some assignment operator, it will generate one identity. After that, if you perform same assignment operator with the help of something else, it will generate a new identity for you. It will not replace the same object. Okay, if you're performing any mathematical operation on the same thing, it's okay, it's fine. It will add it into the same identity. But the thing is, if you're performing some any assignment operator is there, performing any assignment operation, that time identity of the object get changed. That means it's immutable nature in nature. We'll understood with the help of list also we'll understood this is the string I've shown you: single line string, single quoted string, multi quoted double quoted string, and triple quoted string. Single literal string literal, double quoted string allows us formatting, and multi quoted string, or three quoted string gives us multi line string or paragraph string. These are the general methods I've shown you, that you can perform. If you want to represent anything in terms of string, you can just give string value whatever you need, just hit it. It will give the string representation of that representation of that value to you. Okay, we have one more method, built-in method for string. If you want to check length of any value, for example, you declare a variable with a value, for example, hi, hello. Now you want to check length for this. So what you can do, you can take len method and set var. Gives you 7. It will give the character count: hi, 1 2 3 4 5 6 and 7. This is the length of that string. It give you the character count for that particular string. Now, excuse me. Yeah, in Python we don't have any character data type. In C you might find this character data type, but the thing is, in Python we don't have any character data type. If character is there, we also store in terms of string only, either in terms of string literal or double quoted string. Yeah, this was a string methods. Okay, built-in string method. Now in string we have a few concepts, like substring or string slicing we call. Like you take one string, for example, var is there in front of you. I give var. In this var, I just wanted to have a single character. For example, I just want h, starting h, I'll give 0. It give me that particular character. Okay, if I give var, I want from 0 to 0 to first two characters, 0 to 2, first two character I want, I'll give 0 to 2. Okay, for example, I need to count it. For example, I want from 2 to, for example, I want 2 to 2 to, for example, 4. Just give me this. uh, this it has an indexing. String has an indexing, like it will count for 0 0 1. The indexing will always, in Python it'll always start from 0. Okay, we have 0 index here: 0 1 2, like that. If we give this 2 means 0 1 2, it will take this h and e before 3. Before you give the highest index, it will go for the fourth value: 0 1 2 3 and 4. 4 star ends here, but the thing is 4 ends on l. But the thing is, it gives this value. The range of values, it 2 to 4, it's only 2 digit. That's why it is giving me 2. For example, I want whole string after this, you know after this 2, I'll give this. Hi, I want from 2 to I want all the digits present inside my string. Or we can perform reverse operation also here. minus minus 2. Once you give -2, that means take the string from this reverse order. It will go for, this is -1, this is -2. It prints two string for you. Okay, like that. If you perform any reverse operation, you can go for the reverse operation also with the string. Yeah. Yeah, this is nothing but we call it string slicing. If you want any digit, any character from a particular string, you can go for the slicing concept, substring concept. Yeah, string slicing or substring, and we have seen these methods also. I'll tell you more methods we have, apart from this, whatever the methods I've used in front of you, id, length, string, we have, apart from this, we have more built-in methods. I'll show you that. String formatting, in string format, as I already told you that, double coded string are used for the string formatting, and it's similar to the, similar to C formatting. Like, in C we have, percent s format specifier, percent d format specifier, percent d for the integer value, percent s for, string value, and at the end you can use any value. You give float value, or you give, integer value or some other value. You can convert that value to the string with the help of percent s. Okay, percent s is default one. You can, if you're not sure about any form, any value, you can just give percent s and take that value and store it into a percent s as a string literal. Okay, we have finished two data types, number and string. We will see this list, tuple, and dictionary. What this list is, in Python, list is an ordered collection of data. Like, you take whatever the value you have declared. Now you have declared int, float, or string, or long value, or complex value. You can have a collection of that data together. How? Like, for example, now, I want to, for example, I want to store a list. So list declaration is like that. You give list, whatever this list is also variable. Okay, it will have an identity to it. This list is also one type of variable. Okay, you can see the identity. I'll show you. The list is equals to, now, for example, one, two, I want to collect some integer data, some string, like, some, for example, Python is my string, then some floating point data, one, two, and some long data. Okay, this list allows us to have a collection of this different, different data types, and this list is an ordered collection. That means it store the index value. you know I have declared this list. For example, in this list, you want to go to a particular element. These are the elements in list. Okay, 12, Python, these are the element of list. Go to particular specific element of a list. You can, give that value. For example, I want to go for the 2, 0, 1, 2. At 2 I have a floating point value, and this value is, we can retrieve easily. List allows us to store different type of, like, string and integer or float, any type of data. Like, and this data is an ordered collection. Okay, it stores everything in the form of collection, and it's an ordered collection. We have indexing for it. Okay, and with the help of list, for example, you can perform multiple operations. Like, with the help of list, you have taken that list, and in that list, for example, you want to add one more. For example, you want to add one more element to that list. So what you'll do, you just follow the append. We have some pretty built-in methods, so you can use the built-in method. For example, I want to add one more. I want to append something more to this list, so I'll add it. For example, I want to add mm, jobs. Okay, I'll add. If I hit enter to this, and if I print lists again, you can see this Devops is added. I've told you that number and string are immutable in nature, and list are mutable in nature. Why it is mutable in nature? You are able to perform this append operation, and for example, you want to change some element from that list. How you'll change? For example, add this long value. I don't want this 1.21 something. What is at this? I don't want this long value as 1 to 1. I want long value as 3 to 1. And if I hit enter, it change my list. That means it's changing. Anything that is changing, that is mutable. Okay, list is mutable in nature. It gives you, the feature that you can change any element from that list. Right now what we have done, we have went to the third index. In third index we have 1 to 1, and I replaced the third index value with another long value with like 3 to 1. Okay, this way you can perform operation with the list. You can either append means if you're performing append operation, it will append at the end of the list. If you're performing, you're giving the index and you're overriding that value, it gives you the, it will change that value from that list. As I just told you, this identifier name, this list will also have an identity. For example, if I hit enter, it gives me an identity of that particular list. Okay, I think somebody's, can you please mute yourself so that I'm audible to hear some noise. Harish, yeah, thank you, Harish. Yeah, list are string and numbers are immutable in nature, but lists are mutable in nature. You can perform any addition operation, override operation, or appending operation to the list. You can change the value there. So as I told you that it's an ordered collection. Data can be different of different types. Lists are mutable. This mutability nature is there with the list. And issue mutability and subset operation you can perform. Like I have you can retrieve two or three values, or as we have retrieved with the string type. You can you can give for example you want 0 to first two elements, you give 0 and 2. It'll give you the first two elements from that particular list. Okay, and you can have modifying the content from the list, as I already have discussed. You can modify it as is mutable in nature. You can modify, for example, you take x value some list, and I've given you replace that x value with some 15. You print the new list as I have done in front of you, and you can perform append operation. Pretty much covered this one. Now, for example, you have two lists. No list, I've already have one list, and now I will declare another list. List one, suppose. I'll take quickly. List one has integer values only. Okay, sure, like that. Now you can add a list into a list. You can append list like this. You can take this list method. Now you can add list one. Now what you're doing is you're appending. You're changing the value of first list. See here. I've done. I have declared one in type of list, and that in type of list I have appended that list to the already list which it was present with me. Okay, now this append operation is always add the string, always add whatever you're adding. It will add, it will append the list, it will add at the end itself. You can have inside list, you can have list or string value or different data types. Even you can store tuple also inside list. I'll tell you what the tuple is. Okay, see, modifying, we have seen just modifying content and see the value, and this append method whatever you have written. Okay, for example this append method, whatever append method, here you are performing some append operation. This append operation will result you a none value. Okay, none means it will not return anything. For example, in you have a status that, imagine that this list is a list of IP addresses. Okay, this list of IP addresses, you have multiple IP address. In this IP address you want to append one more IP address to that particular list. What you'll do, you'll list append and append that IP address here. Now you want to confirm that that IP address is append or not. What you'll do, you go and see that condition. For example, if, okay, we'll check quickly, list append. For example, you have an IP address 172.2.3.0. You have this IP address and you want to append to the list. So what time you just, what time you have to do, you'll just take another variable and you store that variable value into some new variable. That time you'll do if z equals to, you check for the none. Like this, you perform condition. I'm performing some condition. I'll tell you this condition what it is. But my point was, you can have the validations like this. If z equals to none, that means your IP is ANDed to list. If I hit enter, you give this, you declare this list, you write some statement like this, you store some value like this, z value is none definitely, is equal to none, and then print your IP address is added to the list. Like this, you can add your, you perform some certain validation and you can verify it that thing is added to your list or not. Append method generally won't return anything to us; it returns null. Apart from none, if it is returning something else, your condition get fails, your condition get false, and you'll end up with something error. It will go for the else part. I'll show you that how we can write. There's another data type called as tuple. As we have seen, in list is an ordered collection of data. Similarly, tuple is also like that. But list provides you, provide you the mutability. It provides you can change the list, you can add some new element to the list, you can override particular element from that list. It provides mutable nature to you. But in tuple there is immutable, tuple you can say tuple is an immutable version of list. It's uh, just you cannot modify it. Tuples are nothing but read only. like for example, if I want to declare a tuple in front of you, I'll write tuple. No, tuple lists are declared with the help of square brackets. This is syntax for the list. List equals to square bracket, and whatever the element you need, you just add to that element. And tuple are declared with the help of parenthesis. This open and close. Okay. Inside the tuple, for example, I'm adding read only memory 12 comma I comma some 13 23 like that. I've declared one tuple. Okay, tuple are, we can say tuple is the immutable version of the list. It's just read-only memory. For example, in tuple, you can see whatever is there. It's also follow in the indexing. Sorry. Yeah. Tuple also follow indexing. Here, first element is 12. That's why it's printed 12, 0, 0, 0 index. This gives me. It's exactly similar to the list, but with the help of list, you can perform append operation, or you can, override any element, any sort of element in the list. But with the help of tuple, you cannot append it. It will throw an error to you that if I write tuple dot append method. For example, I just want to override something. Okay, tuple 0 of 0 element was 12 earlier. I just want to replace with 21. But if so, tuple object does not support item assignment. That means tuples are immutable in nature. You cannot modify in tuple. Okay, once you declare tuple, you cannot modify it. You cannot override any element from that tuple. Tuple just read only. Where you can use tuple, for example, you're storing certain passwords, or certain port number, or certain IP addresses, or something that you want that it just should be read only. You should refer that. You should not have any operation on it. That time what you'll do, you'll declare that that thing as a tuple. It will have, it will not, it will have a, it will have a feature that nobody can change it. People will not able to change that value for you. Okay. Now you can say tuples are constant. We cannot change that value. Now there's one thing. Okay, well, declaring tuple, keep in mind when you're declaring, if you say like tuple equals to okay, if you're declaring like this, if you have a single element in tuple, and if you're declaring that tuple as like this, this is by default, your interpreter sometime may going to understand this tuple equals to 2 means tuple is a variable and that value is 2. Okay, for declaring tuple, you just keep in mind, you just give a single. If you have a single element also, you give 2 comma 0. This 2 with the parentheses, it means it's an expression. means tuple value equals to something, you know. And if you give this tuple 2 comma 0, your interpreter is default 2 comma, your interpreter is going to understand that this is a tuple value. No, in with the help of for example, I'm declaring one more tuple. If I declare like this tuple of 2, sorry, tuple equals to what I was saying, like this, you can have this expressions like this, right? 2 into 3. The interpreter sometime may understand that this is an expression. You have to take it as an expression. If you have a single element also, you just declare like this 2 comma something. That's it. Okay. Now this was there in tuple. Now we are reached till tuple. We'll see one more data type called dictionary. And for today it seems we'll stop here with the dictionary, with the data type. Uh, Wait a second. Sorry for the obstacle. Dictionary. Like in dictionary is one type of data type, given by given given for in Python for us, that in dictionary we can have key value pairs. We can store everything in terms of key value there. Means you give some key and it will give some value to you.
Why the? Please use your headphones. Why it's very very low.
Yeah, I'm using my headphones only. Now it
We
is
are not
clear.
able. Yeah, now it's clear.
Okay, fine.
Your voice is dropping very low, Wahid. It's going very
Right.
low.
Now it's clear, it seems.
Yeah, now it is better.
Yeah, fine. So where I was with dictionary, right? Sorry for this voice issue. Actually, the thing is, I'm not sure that it's the issue of my connecting port, or it's an issue of my headset. So I'll figure it out. Don't worry. Okay, dictionary. I was saying, like, dictionary is set of key value pairs. In dictionary, you store everything in terms of key value. You might aware of JSON data, right? JSON data also similar to this. In JSON format, you store everything in terms of key and value pair. You know, we'll see quickly here. Uh, for declaring declaring any dictionary, you have a syntax like, example, I want to declare a dictionary as uh, user. Okay, I have a user. I'm declaring this user as a dictionary. In user, I'm going to store details of that user in terms of key value pair. What I'll do, I'll declare that, I'll take that key. In that key, I'll add that key. Key is, for example, ID is my key, and in value to that ID is 121, something like that. 121 L. Okay, this is my key. Now, apart from that, for example, I have a key with the name. This ID should be string value. Okay. Now I have one more thing, that name as a key value. Name as a key. In that name, I'm gonna store one more thing, like, string value. At that time, what I'll do, I'll add Wahid Khan, for example. Let's you can add many things. You can start adding key and value pair in dictionary. Uh, I can add age. No, I should not add age. I should not declare age. Okay, fine. There's no problem. Age, schooling, 29. Okay. hit enter. Okay, if you want to have some data from that particular dictionary, what you'll do, you go and you give the ID. For example, I give ID key. Okay, it gives me the ID. In dictionary, we don't have indexing. Like list and tuple, you'll find list and tuples are index oriented. Similarly, dictionary is key value pair. It's a key. You give the key, you'll get the value like that. you know like where to use this. Okay, this you can use. You have a key. For example, you have a set of set of names of DB server, or set of names of that DB server have uh, IP address, or DB servers have the data, and more things. Yeah, more things are there in DB. So for example, this dictionary will have DB server address, different address. That time you can use as a key value pair. You give DB1 as a key. For example, you have a DB1 here. Instead of ID, you have DB1. It will give the details or list. For example, I stored here a list. Sorry, I store as a normal value. You can take a list here, and you can store as a list. For example, I'll create one more list, one more. No, what we can say, host. Taking host as a dictionary. In that dictionary, I'm storing values. Okay, for example, db1. In db1 you have list value. List value stores and IP address 172.15.1. Okay, for example, like that. We have a port number. For example, port number is yes, or you end up with something like some string. db no and similarly you have another, for example, or another db2 or something like that, and you have data for it. You have key, host1. Host1 is your key. This should be host1 is your key. Okay, one is key and some string value to it. Example, host1 my host. Username, for example, username. Okay, now if I want to see inside that, if I give the db host of db1, hit enter, it's give me that db related data. The thing, what is happening is, you're taking a dictionary and you're adding key and value pair to that dictionary, and you can start use. You give the key, it will give you it will revert back you the value of that particular key. Okay, and key dictionaries are immutable in nature. For example, you can change anything in that dictionary. uh, right now, like for example, I have host one here in this dictionary, right? Host one is he's my key. I give this key. I want to change this host1 value to some user. Instead of username, I want to store password string.
Wahid, can you show an example where you enter values for two hosts? For example, you have done for one host. If you can enter the values for two hosts, and then eventually you can echo that on the command line.
mm, Bhagat, right? Yeah. What you said, yeah, like, right now I have given one host, right, like this, right? Similarly, you want one more value. Yes, you, of course you can add it. What's the problem? You what I've done is, I've taken inside the dictionary, host dictionary, have added one list as a value. Similarly, you can take one more this, like you can go here, you know
So these two entries are to be given on two separate as two separate commands, or these can be given in a single command.
no, you have to give in a single statement. If you're saying like this, right? Means if you hit enter, it will, actually it's an interpreted language. You have to write everything in a single statement only. But the thing is, I've not showed you the, this right now we are using interpreter. Okay, I'll show you, this whatever we have done in interpreter, same thing we can perform in, with the help of Python bash, Python script also. Wait a moment, I'll tell you. Okay,
Okay.
we'll go to we'll go to there. We'll go to there soon. We go to there. Okay, where I was. Uh, we have quite less time today. Okay, fine. This was a dictionary I was having. I was saying like, you can modify any element from that dictionary. You give the key, dictionary R host one equals to already modified it seems. Now it is password. I'll change it to something else. You can change the first element also. You just have to give, if you want to change this first element with ID, you don't want this as a lace, you want this as a tuple. You can give this key and assign that value to it. If I print host again, it will give me this instead of this password. It gives me the user. That means the strings, whatever this dictionary is, it has the nature of mutability. Dictionaries are mutable in nature. Okay, now I think it's 9 already. Fine. There is till dictionary. We'll stop till dictionary. I'll tell you, one thing, one more thing, and we'll for today itself, we'll wrap up this session. You can easily modify this dictionary, as I told you. You take this dictionary, you give the key value, and you can change that value, and you can add new entry to it. Okay. Um, you can add new entry in new ent for adding new entry. How you can add new entry, like you have host value here. For example, I want to add new entry. You can add new entry similar to it. For example, I want host 2. Host 2 is should added the this host 2 should be added to this. So what I'll do, I'll take host 2 as a key and assign some value to it. Like example, I'm assigning one string value. Now if you print the list, new element is added, new entry is added here. It's just similar to your overriding operation, like your here you're overriding this host one key, host one value with same. What it will do when you perform this operation, right, it will check for, it will check the entire dictionary. That key is available, it is going to override with that key. If it is not available, it's going to add a new entry into that dictionary. Okay. And you have one more operation right now. You can, you have this host, right? I want to copy this host into some other dictionary. I want to just copy it. So what I'll do, I'll generate some, uh, for example, this dictionary backup. So I'll, host, I'll take host back up. I'll take keyword host backup, and in that host backup I can assign host dot copy. To give this method, there is one method called, you know copy. What you'll do, it will copy that dictionary into another. Look at here, if I go for this host only now, if I print this, it will give me the exact copy of that dictionary. We can perform it, whenever there is a time that we need that dictionary, when we are performing new operation on particular dictionary. At that time you can take backups like that. Okay. Right now what we have done everything in terms of, wait, whatever we have done everything in terms of Python interpreter. Okay. Now, whatever we have written, whatever the scripts we have written, whatever the operations we have performed, we can perform same operation with the help of, Python scripting. You have seen Python interpreter, same thing you can do with the Python scripts also. Like how you're going to generate, you know, this command, right? Python. If you want to see any interpreter, you can see with the help of which command you can see the path for that interpreter. For example, I want to see for Python path. I give which Python. It gives me the Python interpreter path. This user slash bin slash Python is in path for the interpreter. Okay. Now I want to create some scripts. So what I'll do is I'll take vi, any scripts, for example, first dot first script. This is my first script. First scripts, and I want to add anything, everything inside that script. Okay, I'll hit enter first script.py. That extension should be py for any Python script. That extension for any Python file, that extension should be py. Now py, hit enter. Now insert. Here in bash scripting, you used to give shebang character. Shebang character in denotes the path for the interpreter. Now now I'll give usr slash bean slash python. This is my path for the interpreter. This is the path for the interpreter. Now you whatever you want to write, you can write inside that Python int. Can you please mute yourself so that it's interrupting? Okay, we have written everything in terms of interpreter there. Now whatever you have written there, you can write. For example, you want to write hi. No, for example, hello world, hello world, and for example, you want to have variable declaration, variable var equals to some string value. Mm, right. Now we have performed some print operation with that variable. For example, uh, like I Wahid, I finish, comma, at var. Okay. Now whatever we have declared some list. For example, list equals to one, comma, I, comma, Python. Whatever we have done, we have declared Python list, anything, whatever we have perform operation. Same thing you can use with the help of and list. Okay. Save this file. Now you can execute this file with the help of Python. You have a keyword Python, then first py. If you execute this, whatever we have done, we have seen the output, in terms of Python interpreter with the help of by using Python prompt. Same, whatever the operation you want to use, you can use with the help of this Python file. If you perform any operation with the help of Python interpreter and you want to reuse it, you cannot reuse it. It's gone. You can just see the quick output. That's it. But for reusability purpose, most of the time go with this Python. Always go with the Python scripting so that this file will be there with you, and then you can go and check whatever the operation you perform inside that file. You can you can have some modification in it. You can run again. So prefer this Python scripting. For today I think we should wrap up this session. And tomorrow we'll see, tomorrow there's one more session for this Python. In there we'll have advanced concept. We'll see functions, how we can modify, control flow for loops. For today it was a building session, and tomorrow we'll have the major topics from the Python. For practicing purpose, everything is written inside the decoding Devops box. You can go and refer everything, whatever is there. It is we have designed according to that only, and you can practice from that book. Uh, Apart from that, most of the time go with this Python scripts as I told you, and you can perform, you can write and execute pretty much same thing whatever you have done with the help of interpreter. Tomorrow we'll see the advanced concept like control flow, functions, decision makings, modules, imports, and different thing, different little advanced concept in Python. Okay. So data type summary is done from my side. Data type summary is done. Go and have some practice and hands-on on this uh, data types. Copying I have done in front of you. Data type summary. I have taken all the data types, standard data types available in Python, like integer, floating point, complex, list, tuple, and dictionary. These are the summary. Tomorrow we'll have some user input or some functions. We'll discuss some built-in functions also. For today, I'll 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 end up this session. Yeah, we'll wrap up this session. Is if you have any query from your side, you can ask me now. Can put into chat section. I'll go into chat section. Yeah, is there
This
any?
PPT document like which you are showing now, like
Yeah,
can we?
yeah. I'll uh, actually the thing
Oh,
is there is
Wahid,
no need. Uh, yeah, let me
oh,
answer one.
Wahid, can you tomorrow
There is
please have a little orientation towards usage of Python in the big data world, in machine learning? I'm not asking you for complete details. I understand that would be quite wide, but if you can have little orientation over that.
I think this course is related to the DevOps. I'll teach you the automation. I know. Okay, I can pretty much very well develop web applications, big data and all. The thing is, not better to go individually for a particular person into that depth of data science and machine learning. Though Python are very it's very broad. You can use into learning for learning machine learnings or data science. The thing is, for I think according to this session, it should be restricted towards the ops only. Because if we start again, I'm not saying we cannot do it. If you start again doing it, people will get confused. They'll think unnecessary, why this much headache. People uh, if you want to do it, come have one-to-one contact with me, or we have with good Python developers who are all working or already started working with data science. Okay, so come one to one with us. We can discuss all this uh, things, and we can sort it out. uh, but the thing is, according to me, I'll discuss once. According to me, this for this sessions, whatever the Python I'll take in terms of DevOps for automation, and for automation basically, how we can move from Python scripting to the advanced level of from shell scripting to the advanced level, how we can do it different system automation with the help of this Python. Cloud automation also, if you prefer any other library like Boto, you can have a cloud automation also, like AWS. Yeah, apart from that, any question? Yeah, tomorrow, yeah, about this PPT you can practice. I mean, in this PPT there is only few things I've mentioned, but if you go to the book, you'll find more theory details, or more prescribe, actually more describe thing you'll find there. So I'll ask, otherwise, and I'll ask admin people to send this PPT also. There is no issue with that. Apart from that, is there any question? Hello. Yeah. So, well then, from my side, today's session is end. We'll have see some more topics in core Python, like we'll go little advanced for functions, modules, and all. Then we'll have automation with the help of OS library, OS module, what you are present inside that Python, built-in module with Python. Then we'll have more automation with the help of Fabric also. Then Boto also you can do it. There's no issue. But once we quite have a hands-on this core. So for today, bye bye. Thank you guys. Thank you.